Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for April 12th, 2020. So, it's been another weird week, and I'm, it's been a really weird weekend. This is sad. This whole self-isolation is kind of weird. It's not like I'm going stir crazy quite yet. I feel very disconnected in my reading for sure, and what I want to do in my off hours. Work is going fine for me so far. I've been very lucky that way. Actually, I've been really busy. Still, I do go in 2 mornings to a week to do a few things that I have to do physically at where I work, and then I come home. That was the only time I was out. Plus, I had to go get prescriptions at my monthly prescriptions, and then that was kind of it. And I've been home the rest of the time with these guys. Anyway, so and Cooper, is always wanting to be cuddling close, and Truman here and there. Anyway, but so it's been a really weird week. I read a lot in the beginning part of the week, and then I wasn't reading. And I don't think it's the books. I really think it's me. I think I'm not concentrating on the books very well. So anyway, so we'll just go through the books that I completed, the ones I'm in the middle of, and then I'm probably not going to point out any other books I might get to next. I think I really want to focus on the books I'm in the middle of. I happen to be in the middle of 5 books right now, which is really weird for me. I'm not usually, if 6 if you count the one that I've set aside that I'm not going to talk about, but still, it's like I have too many books on the go. I'm not usually currently reading that many books. Usually at the most it's 3. But right now I have 6, and it's, all together. And it's just like, I need to just finish some and get it off that list. So we'll see what happens. So the first thing I finished was on Sunday. I had 175 pages left on my reread of Etched in Bone by Anne Bishop. God, I love this series. This is the 5th book in the Others series. This is a alternative history, urban fantasy that has shifters and vampires that pretty much rule North America. But humans are only there, kind of they lease area, and or, lease land and things like that. And so they are, only allowed in certain areas and stuff. Well, this is the 5th book, so there's not much I can tell about it, except I know a lot of people don't like this book compared to the rest of the series. I think it definitely does stuff that I wish she'd flipped the books. This was 4, and then number 4 was number 5 for action-wise. But except I see how this is the aftermath of what happened in the first 4 books, and that you need something to wrap it up. So I still believe that, even on my second reread, or my first reread, but my second read of the series. I finished it, loved it. This is one of my favorite found families, and group of people who come together from the first book to the end, and how all their lives are connected by the end. I love this series. I really want to reread it again, but I'm not going to right now. I really don't know why I haven't started the second series, which is called World of the Others, but it has to do with other people, so I just haven't, sorry, the cat is right here. Just stop. I don't know why I haven't started that series yet. I don't know, it's because it starts differently and it has a first-person narrative as one of the perspectives, and I'm not sure I really like that in this. But we'll see. I'm hoping to get to that this year, is to read those 2 books that I have in that series. But I really want to reread this. I almost picked up Written and Read and just started rereading the series again. But I didn't. I wanted to, though. So I picked up a book that was on my TBR, and that was The Castles of Otranto by Horace Walpole. So this is a 18th century novel published in 1764. It's considered the first Gothic novel, and there are good reason for that, due to all the elements that he put in here that are found in most Gothic writing. So I'm reading this. Well, I was going to read this anyway this year. I had already planned on it, but Erin WithTheClassics is doing 18th century April, and so this is my first completion for that, even though I'm reading several. But this is the one I wanted to make sure I got through, because it was not very long. It's like less, it's just about 100 pages, 105 pages, I think, the story itself. But there are notes and stuff in it. I think, yeah, it was really funny. The notes in this were interesting because, so this was, hold on. It was, Nick Groom did all the introduction and the notes in the back. And it was interesting. He shows how a lot of Walpole's dialogue and stuff came from like Shakespeare and some from the Bible too, but a lot of it was Shakespeare. Like it shows that Walpole definitely pulled a lot of ideas from Shakespeare and then twisted them in his own way. So this deals with the Prince of Otranto, Manfred, and his son Conrad is to be married to Isabella. And on the way to the chapel, something happened. Something kills the son, and it throws everybody into a panic, and Manfred decides he is going to divorce his wife and marry Isabella. And it's her flight, it's his obsession with not letting his house die, since he only has a daughter besides, you know, the dead son, and then how that all goes about with Gothic elements, the sensory stuff, the scenery, the whole, you know, all the description is really, that's the part that was really good about this. This was really good on description, on that Gothic feel, and I really see that. And but the story was just ridiculous. It was like drama. Everybody was just crazy, and it was a fun read though. I actually enjoyed this a lot. I read this in 2 days, I think. I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to enjoy it because I've heard that it was really wacky, and it is. It is very wacky, but it was fun. But I love the scenery and the as I said, the atmosphere. That was the word I was looking for. Is so good in here. Now, I do not enjoy a lot of 18th century literature because they have their own ideas of punctuation. And there's no quotes, there's no, you know, there's a typical thing. I hate that. I hate seeing like multiple people talk in the same paragraph. I admit it's my little pet peeve of dialogue. I like it to be structured where you can see who's saying what. And I mean, I didn't get lost in this. That's not what I mean, but I just don't like it. But other than that, I mean, it was, it had like really long paragraphs. Like, I just feel like he could have switched it, you know, made it, you know, shorter. But I still read this really fast, and I still really enjoyed this. And so I'm really glad I actually read this. There's a couple of books that I've bought, you know, over the last couple of years of 18th century writers that I want to take a chance on, and he was one of the ones, definitely for sure, because of the first Gothic novel. So I'm glad I did this, and I'm glad I completed it, and I enjoyed it. So then let's talk about the books I'm in the middle of. So I am still reading A Journal of the Plague Year by Daniel Defoe. I feel like I can only pick this up once or twice a week right now. This is published in 1722? 1722. So this is also 18th century, but I was already reading this from March. This, of course, has to do with the London 1665 plague. And Defoe is writing a fictional account of what happened. Well, fictional, but based on a lot of information that he found out about the plague, because he was very young at the time, and he was not coherent of what happened during the plague. So this is still so fascinating to read this at a time when we're having a pandemic with COVID-19, just because so many things are so similar to when this the plague hit, and how people reacted, and how people who didn't want to follow the rules, and what happened, their consequences, and what happened when people left the city but still was around and about other people, and there, you know, it is interesting. So I did have a really dry story. He has this little story section in the middle of, you know, when it took about 15 pages, that almost stopped me. So I'm only 150 pages in of, I think it was 240. So there's a lot of notes and other information in here. I'm not sure I'm going to go back right now and read all that stuff. Right now I'm just trying to get through the main text. So I have about, what did I just say? 90 pages left. So I'm hoping I can get through this in the next couple weeks. I want to be done by the end of the month. So as I said, I pick it up and I usually read about 10 pages. Maybe I'll be ambitious and one day get like 30. And then the next day I'll only get like 10, and then I won't read it for days. So I haven't read this since like Wednesday. So, and I read a good chunk. I think I read, well, no, I didn't read that much. I just said, I'm working slowly through this. As I said, I'm hoping to get done by then. And again, I picked this up for, just because I had it and I wanted to read it about the play. And I'm glad I have. I'm not sure I'm ready to read a book on pandemics or from other things like real, like nonfiction. I don't know if I'm quite to that point. But this is kind of interesting because, again, it does have a lot of historical facts from that time of what they knew in 1722 about what happened during the plague. And I just find it very fascinating because it's so believable, like everything that people do during this, and how the people of London, the managers who were left behind when the king and everybody else fled, what they had to do. It's very fascinating, and it's very eye-opening to see that, what we're going through is very little compared to what some people went through, but also it's like exactly the same. So weird. Then I picked up what I would consider, well, it's kind of urban fantasy. I would say it was urban fantasy. And that's The Library of the Unwritten. Join the Library's Raise Hell. Sorry. So this is by A.J. Hackworth. So this is a book I got from the library. I have not read very much. I've only read, I don't know if you can see that. It's like, I've read like 42 pages. This is a book that I don't think it's its fault. I really think this is my mindset. So I picked this up, I think, after I finished the Walpole. So it was probably Wednesday. I think I read about like 20 pages that day. No, I picked up Thursday. I take it back. So I picked up Thursday. I read about 20 pages. Friday, I read 2. Yesterday, I read whatever that balance is. 10? I read, so I haven't read very much. It's not the book's fault. It's very readable. So this follows Claire, who is the librarian of Hell's Library. And she, the first part is when she's chasing after a character from a book that is unfinished and unwritten, and it escapes to Earth. So she and a few companions go to get this this runaway book that has manifested into a character, and what happens. So, and that's just like the first part of the scene. It's very, as I said, it's very urban fantasy. So I think I'm going to like this. It's just, I have not sat down and really focused on it. As I said, I've read so little of it. My problem right now is I'm not picking it up. So again, I didn't read much on Thursday. I didn't read much on Friday. Yesterday was pitiful. And I never even touched this yesterday. So I'm hoping this week that I will be able to return to this and reread it, or start reading again. I just, as I said, I want to give it a little bit more of a shot before just putting it aside. It is a library book, so it's not like I have to read this. I just wanted to read this. And I've heard mixed reviews on this one, so I kind of want to see where I land on it. I just haven't got far enough to decide either way. It's not the book's fault that I don't want to pick it up right now. I really am. I definitely didn't read anything else either on the couple of days I was going to read this. So anyway, so I'm hoping to pick this up. If you guys have read this, well, let me know what you think. As I said, I'm still on the fence. I'm still going to give it a little bit more. I want to at least give it until 100 pages and then decide. I think it reads really fast when I read it. I just need to read it. And then after I finished The Castle of Otranto, I have a problem saying that word, I picked up another 18th century book because I had it. And it's also a German book, so I was going to go for Read German Books 2020, which is put on by Mel and Mel's Bookland Adventure. And Britta Bohler at the second shelf. And this is The Sorrows of Young Werther by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I don't even know how to say his last name. I've only just ever seen it written. I actually have no idea. I should look that up. Anyway, so this is like a diary. Well, it's letters sent from this Werther to his friend Wilhelm of him going to this town and I guess making a change. And he kind of is getting involved with people there. And I didn't get very far. I mean, I'm about 40. No, I'm not even that far. It starts on page, like, the way this thing has the numbers, it's all... I'm only about 22 pages in, and I think it's about a little over 100 pages. But it was so hard to read. I don't know how I feel about this one yet. I'm having trouble. Now, I've never read anything by him, and I think false. What is that one he very famous for that I have not read? I don't know anything about that either. So I don't know what I'm going to do on this one. As I said, I've read 20 pages, and I think I have, you know, about another 80 pages or so. So I don't know. This one, again, it's like really, it's because it's like journal entries, although they're letters. He's saying what's happening, and so it's one of those epistolar ones that I'm like, I mean, I like some of them. This one, I'm not buying it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I know kind of where it's going by accident, because I accidentally read one of the introduction things and I didn't mean to. Or actually, no, I take it back. You know, this is one of those ones where the notes gave away something and I was pissed off, because I don't read the introductions until afterwards. So this one I do read the notes in the back when it shows something. And this poem, I think, gave away something that happens. And I'm like, well, now I don't know if I want to read this. So this one I'm not sure about. What do you guys think? Have you guys read this? I wonder if I should I kind of want to slog through and just get through it. It's only 80 pages for me to finish it, but it's just like, I don't know. I kind of was spoiled and I'm kind of mad about it. And I know because it's classic, I shouldn't be upset about that. But I don't know. I still want the enjoyment of reading something or getting into it. And I don't know. This one I'm not so sure about. What do you guys think? You let me know. But it's right now kind of on hold. It's in my stack, but, you know, I don't know. And then just to put it out there, I am still listening to Ben Franklin by Walter Isaacson, narrated by Nelson Rudger. Sorry. So I'm still enjoying this. I only got to listen to it one day this week for my drive to and from work. I usually listen to audiobooks in the car, and I'm not driving anywhere right now. So I can't listen to it on my laptop. I work, but as I said, work was really busy this week, and I did not have a time where I was working on something where I felt like I could listen to it at the same time. So we'll see. As I said, this might be one that really carries over. It'll just be when I get in the car, or, you know, if there is a day where I have a project that's not so mind consuming. But anyway, I am enjoying both the narration as well as Ben Frank, learning about Ben Franklin's early life right now. So that's it. That's kind of where I'm at on that. And then, of course, I picked up another reread since I was having trouble with all my books. Yesterday, I just went, okay, that's it. I could not pick up any of the books. I just looked at them and went, I don't want to read any of them. So I picked up a Nillingi Singh book. Anybody surprised? So this is Heart of Obsidian. Is this book? I always forget what number it is. Yeah, I'm horrible at that. 12. Yes. Book 12 of the Side Changeling series. So this is one of my favorite books in the series. I did not reread this last year. I'm kind of surprised at myself. I reread a lot of the other ones, but this one I did not. So I figured it is time. I have not reread this one in a while, and it is one of my favorites. This was, the way I remember it is this came out at the time, right after I just started reading the Side Changing series. So I was way behind, I had 9 books. So I had actually started with her other series, the Guild Hunter series. So I then I got to this series, and then I read it, and I actually had to get the first time I read this from the library. It was the first time I did that. So and as I said, it was the book I was waiting for, all those books. Anyway, if you read the books, you'll understand. So this is the 10th book of the Side Changeling series, which is a world, it's a paranormal romance urban fantasy series where shifters and people who have psychic abilities who are called the Sais, and humans all are vying for power. And it's a great overarching series with political machinations and all that stuff, but also has great couples and found families as well as clan families. And it's just, it's one of my favorite series, clearly, since I reread all these all the time. But as I said, right now, rereads are just such a comfort to me. And I picked this up last night. I feel like I wasted Saturday so much. I mean, I played a lot of Animal Crossing, I admit it. And then the afternoon, I tried to read. Didn't go so well. And then I was like on one of the other books. And then I was just like, well, what do I think I tried to pick up the Plague book about 4 times. And I just went, I can't read this right now. And I watched some good TV in the evening, which was good. I'm glad I did that. But I was like, well, but I want to read something. And so I picked up a favorite. So, and again, this is one of my all-time favorites, so of the series. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this. Vala Caleb, Krychek, one of my favorite characters of all time. I mean, I just love him. Anyway. Anyway, so I'm rereading that. So that's it. I didn't get very far. I'm only about 50 or about, I'm about 60 pages in. So I'm hoping this will be today, probably reading, and maybe tomorrow. And then maybe I'll pick up one of the other books. Hopefully the Library of the Unwritten, but I'm not positive. See, I'm like, my mind is just not settling, and I'm getting to that thing where I'm starting to start books and not finish them, which does not happen to me, luckily, very often. I would say it's a once or twice a year I'll do that. Sometimes not that often, sometimes more, but I would say on average I do that every once in a while. I think it's usually when a lot of stuff is going on and I just can't settle on a story. And again, what I usually do is I find a reread to kind of slow myself down. And so I'm hoping that another reread, even though I was trying to get away from them, I was trying to get back to reading what books I want to read, plus library books that I have still out, or that I have that are here until we take them back. I don't know. As I said, I think the reading is still kind of messed up for me, and I'm glad to hear that a lot of other people's mojo is coming back for their reading, and I feel like mine's fluctuating, and as I said, I have so many books I want to read that are new to me, but my mind is just going back to the rereads. And again, I didn't do my try a chapter this week. I just could not concentrate on that. So hopefully this week I will do a try a chapter vlog, tag, whatever, the video for, and at least do 4 of the oldest books on my TBR for the TBR clear out that is going on this month by Katie at Books and Things. I still want to take part in that. I still want to go through these and just decide if I'm going to keep them, or I'm going to read them soon, or if I'm going to that they're not a book for me and I'm getting rid of them. I've had them on my shelf for most of these about 20 years or more. So, not all of them. A couple of them are only 15, but still close enough. Because I really want to do another set. I found 8 other books that I would consider kind of around the same age range that I didn't do the first round, because I kind of switched it around what books I wanted to focus on first. So I have like 8 more that I'd like to do this again, but I think this month I want to do 2 try chapters to get through these 8 that I'm going to do. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get rid of Wuthering Heights. I don't know. Or I might just put it back on my shelf and just say, I'm never going to read that. Anyway, we'll see. Anyway, that's kind of it. I'm sorry I don't have a lot of videos out in the last couple weeks. I haven't had time and, mind space to do that. And so I'm hoping to do the try a chapter to get something out. So, I think that's it. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.